Well, let's discuss some Week 8 news here. Let's start with the injury report. Not as long as it's been in the past, so thank God for that. But still some notable names on it, so I'm just going to go through the list. If there's anybody that you want to talk about, just stop me. San Francisco, they lose another guy. Safety Jaquiski Tart goes down with a knee injury. Philadelphia's halfback Miles Sanders, which they finally started using him, but now he has an ankle injury.
Surprise.
Vegas, Josh Jacobs down with a chest injury right now. Rams lose Robert Rochelle to a knee injury. Tight end Jonnu Smith of New England goes down with a shoulder injury. Devin McCourty for New England goes down as well with an abdomen issue. And same thing with Shaq Lawson over there. Shaq Mason, rather. And then Jets, as we said earlier, Zach Wilson goes down with a knee sprain. Carolina loses C.J. Henderson to a shoulder injury. Miami loses a pair of guys. Malcolm Brown, as I mentioned earlier, has a quad injury. I don't think he's expected to play next week. And linebacker Jerome Baker goes down with a knee injury. Giants can't get out of their own way with these injuries. Safety Jabril Peppers goes down with an ankle injury. And then Atlanta's cornerback A.J. Terrell goes down with an undisclosed head injury. I don't know if that's a concussion or what that's about. They didn't list it. They didn't give a specific listing to exactly what his injury was, but they just said head injury. So that's on the report as well. So not a great week for injuries, but better than it has been in the last 2 weeks, though. So that's that. Some notable names, like I said, the running backs. I think Josh Jacobs is one of the biggest ones, and obviously Zach Wilson going down. But hopefully these guys can get right soon and be back on the field again. And hopefully we can start getting some of the guys that we lost over the last few weeks back to start playing again. Chicago, can we get a report on David Montgomery, please? Now, I only have one kind of key headline for this week, as we are just closing in fast on the trade deadline. Trade deadline is November 2nd. There is now expected to be a bidding war to take place for the services of one Deshaun Watson between the Miami Dolphins and right now the Carolina Panthers. Deshaun Watson did come out today and say he is willing to play for more teams than he had originally listed. He just wants out of Houston, as it seems right now. So he's going to be they have to talk to him about it because he still has a no trade clause, so they can't just trade him to anybody for just anything. He can basically reject any trade that he wants to, but yeah, it looks like the front runner right now actually over the last few days has actually become the Panthers over the Miami Dolphins, where Miami's been the front runner for months now. Now Carolina, this dark horse team coming in, just saying, "Hey, no, we will definitely gladly take your services." Now that Sam Darnold's playing like New York Jets Sam Darnold again.
I didn't even want to talk about that, because oh my God, this is not a good look. Not a good look, Sam Darnold. When you hear your franchises considering this guy, that's bad because how the tables have turned in 1 month, literally, and it has been a tale of two Darnolds, So he's looked bad. I mean, he's looked like New York Jets Darnold, and that's not a good thing to talk about. I find it interesting you said there's more teams he's willing to consider to go, and I've had a real sadistical thought that went through my head when you said that.
Like what?
Oh man, you don't even want to go there with me. You really don't. Okay. Here we go. Because of the shit show that we see in Chicago.
Oh God.
I know.
Absolutely not.
No, hear me out. See, I told you want to hear it. They make a push. They get Deshaun Watson in Chicago. Now we can put Justin Fields back on the bench where he can develop. And we in the time. Now, no, I understand. I understand this. But to the fact that we got Deshaun Watson, now we have a wonderful trade asset, and we could trade Justin Fields if we could just groom him and just send him somewhere else. But we'll have Deshaun Watson. My point is because freaking Rat Nagy has found a way to F this up. And with that being said, I'm just afraid for Justin Fields' career. under Matt Nagy, not because he's with Chicago. I know that.
No, great segue. Because
Go ahead.
just to update everybody on the head coaching hot seat, Matt Nagy's on top of the damn list right now.
Oh, he should be the list.
No,
I mean,
no, there are some other ones, but I just want just a great way to
couldn't
segue
nothing
into it.
be as hot as that. Like, I mean, I know this. I mean, just I'm
Well, yeah.
gonna say whoever's number 2, it should be so distant in
Yeah.
the degrees as to where he's at.
That's fair, but yeah, Matt Nagy definitely. Your days are numbered, buddy. Like this is not good.
Yeah.
You cannot have a game where you get absolutely just the game plan you came out with Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then follow it up just a few weeks later with the offensive line play of week 7. Those two things right there. And I think I said it to you on the phone. Juan Castillo should have been fired Monday. The fact that he wasn't tells me that this organization is just going to ride it out this year. And it scares me because what I feel it might happen is we might start playing well in the second half of the season, and things might be looking like, okay, we can finally turn this thing around.
Mhm.
We got to make some big changes, and they're just not going to make the changes that they need to. They're going to be like, well, we've got Matt Nagy here, might as well just re-sign him to another contract and see what he can do and how he can build off of this. Same thing with Ryan Pace, might as well just keep him. No, everybody needs to go. Ryan Pace needs to be out. Matt Nagy needs to be out. Often, the whole coaching staff needs to be completely overhauled. And on top of that, we also, Ted Phillips, you need to go. Like you clearly, and the fact that you came out last year after what happened in the playoffs, what happened throughout the season, after we went on a 6-game losing streak last year. And Ted Phillips saying that we have complete and utter faith in Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy to figure this out. And then you, in the last year of both of their deals, you'd say, hey, you know what? We're just going to stick with you guys. Just we'll figure it out throughout the season. We're going to just ride it out.
Of course.
What is the point? What are we doing?
Besides doubling down, nothing.
So
Doubling
Matt
down
Nagy,
on
your days
nonsense.
are numbered. But some other guys, so that I don't get too hot right now, some other guys that I also
going.
believe are on the hot seat. There are a couple here that are just a little bit out there. So starting out, Brian Flores, Miami.
Hey, I don't think I'm gonna say. I'm gonna have to go ahead and stand in the gap and petition and intercede for this guy here.
I'm not saying I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying I think with the 1-6 record,
it's so unfair to put this man on this. I'm talking about anybody wants to be like, man, this guy should be. Stop.
I agree. I totally agree.
If you would have seen this man's face at the end of the last game, I was like, dude, I feel you like 1,000%. Like, if he could have just went to one of his coordinators or somebody on his staff that he could have just punched, because I knew he wanted to punch somebody out. I don't know who it was specifically.
Should have been Tua.
I mean, man, did you see how he just walked? I mean, I was like, oh my God, this dude is about to kill somebody. Like if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. I mean, that is not a man I would want to mess with.
No.
I don't want to cross this dude. Like, it was scary watching him walk off the field because I'm like, I really thought he was. I'm not really funny anymore. I actually thought he was gonna do something to somebody. I didn't know who. Like, it just something. And whether he would have shunned somebody from not not shaking nobody's hand, not going to the middle of the field, whatever the case, he was gonna do something, but he didn't do it. I was just waiting for it. I mean, man, the way he just threw his set off, I was like, this is, I mean, if there was a meme for utter disgust.
He was hot. He was hot.
I think it is 100% unfair to put this man on this list. I'm so sorry. He is not the reason why they lost.
I agree with you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But the fact I hear you, I'm saying this to the listeners. Look, he could be on the list. He should not be on this list. Yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to say that.
No, I agree with you. I just, with the 1-6 record, I was just looking at it. I was like, I don't know. Like, they might, it's year 3 now? Like, they just might be like, oh, we'll move on to the next. And hey, Brian Flores is out there. If we don't get Lincoln Riley,
got to make for a bad season here or there. But Miami, y'all got a good coach. I mean,
you do.
seriously,
You
y'all
really
got
do.
a good coach.
A coach that I don't think is very good and definitely should be fired. Urban Meyer.
Okay, that's week 2. We're 2 weeks in a row. He is still on the list.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay.
And that was on a bye. That didn't change anything, Urban Meyer.
Yeah. And another one, Vic Fangio, out in Denver.
Yeah.
4-game skid right now.
That is starting to fall apart. Now, we had already said Denver was going to end up at the back of the division. I didn't think they were just going to just start dropping game after game after game. Like, I mean, just like, okay, bottom, we're done. Here it is.
We did what we could. We got our 3 wins.
I said they would lose. I'm thinking in my mind, they'll get to the bottom gradually as the season goes.
No,
record time.
They took the highway.
Hey, we can do this in a month.
Yeah.
And for the next 4 weeks, they had just went on to just lose game after game after game. They tried. Don't get me wrong. And so sorry. And shout out to Teddy Bridgewater, who is taking way too many hits. He has become the new Russell Wilson this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised he even made it to the end of the game. I really would have lost the part. I would have lost whatever bet, whatever spot bet you would have put on. Could Teddy Bridgewater make it through the game? I would have been like, no. Yeah. I thought he was literally going to get knocked out of the game. It's just the way he looked in pregame. I'm like, I can't even see this dude getting it. I could see him coming out in the third quarter or not coming back in the second half after he goes into the tunnel for the halftime. He came back out, but it didn't look good. And I understand it would have probably got worse had he came out and missed
Drew Lock.
Mr. Lock would have came in. So, to your point, yes.
Not looking good over there. Now, this one I don't think you're going to agree with at all. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think that this person should be on the hot seat. I mean, I was just looking through the teams that were falling and falling fast, and I've heard some rumblings about these guys being, starting to question these coaches. Andy Reid, Kansas City.
Wow. Okay. Before you go any further, this is not as out there as it should be because if y'all were listening last week, the week before last, who was my guy?
Oh, Bill Belichick.
Belichick. Until he just turned the whole thing around with a 54-point performance against the Jets. But moving on. So that's actually contextually legit. I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it.
It's contextually legit. Like I can see somebody making a case here, but it's kind of like, okay, the minute they finally started to show some signs of problems, why would you fire him too? Also, but we've seen this before.
Yeah,
but not necessarily with someone with his resume. But with that being said,
especially now that he's now become the only coach in NFL history to have 100 wins on multiple franchises.
Yes, and you brought a title to Kansas City in 50 years. Dude, I don't know what it would take to fire this guy, to be honest. But moving on. With that being said, that is an interesting you brought that up. I mean, because he would be that type of candidate considering how this season is played out.
Coming off of there's another thing that I wanted to get into, and we'll talk about it after the rest of this list. Basically, just based off of what happened in the Super Bowl, just weren't able to score a touchdown offensively, and defensively just, again, got absolutely exposed. And then now this season, same thing with the defense, perfectly fine, but now the offense has regressed as well, in just completely kind of the bottom has fallen out. Mm-hmm. This is not granted, they have won 3 games on the season. They're 1 game under 500. I'm not saying that this is going to be something that happens anytime soon. This would be definitely something that would happen after the season if they don't make the playoffs. But I don't think that they will get rid of him. It's just now he's got a coach for his job for the first time in 4 years now. Because man, you really have to show us what the hell is going on. Right. This across the board. Everything needs to be fixed. What happened? We said you have 1 hole on your team, 2 holes on your team, defensive back and an offensive line. We thought you fixed the offensive line. What the hell happened? What is this offensive line doing? How is this offensive line somehow worse now that you have more talent on it? And then again, defensive back wise, what are we doing to fix that? Are we just going to continue to trot out Sorensen out there to continue to get burned every single week and not give him any help? Can we convert Tyrann Mathieu back to a safety instead of leaving him at corner? What the hell are we doing?
Rhetorical questions. I mean, man, what do you want me to begin with this?
I'm just saying these are the questions for Andy Reid. Like, what
I'm
you
glad
need to answer that.
I can't answer them because I don't know what the hell they're doing.
It doesn't make sense.
And I am. You already know. I'm already disgusted at what's going on in Kansas City right now.
To me, the most egregious thing right now is the fact that Tyrann Mathieu is still listed as a corner. Why is he still at corner? Move him back to safety.
Right.
Sorensen cannot get it done back there. And there's literally a picture every single week of Tyrann Mathieu turning around after a bomb just gets thrown, and his hands are literally just stretched out wide. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you nowhere in the picture, Sorensen? Like, in every single time, it's Sorensen getting burned.
You've seen that too, huh?
Yeah.
And the play happens, and guess what you see after when the play is almost over? Sorensen started running into the play. Like, where was you at all this time? Like, dude. He always last on the scene, like, their defense. Oh my, their secondary, trash.
Well, the front seven finally kind of came up to play this last week because my biggest thing on the front seven is Chris Jones being moved to outside to edge rusher instead of leaving him at D tackle, and then you also have Frank Clark in the middle, and it's just like, okay, Frank Clark needs to get his legs back under him, and he's the dude that's supposed to be stuffing the run. They got a lot of issues on the defensive side that they just need to figure out chemistry wise, get guys playing in the spots that they should be at, and I don't know what the moves were made on the defensive situation, why those moves were made at the beginning of the season. No, I'm saying where you moved Tyrann Mathieu from safety to corner and you moved Chris Jones from D tackle to edge rusher. Like, why would you do those two things? Like, those guys were perennial Pro Bowlers at those different positions.
Yard misdirection. Get out of here. It was nothing.
Yeah.
Woo! Like, what did you just do? That's like the cup, it's like the shell game.
Yeah.
You moved the cup right back to the spot it started in. What are you talking about? We didn't do anything. Just motion, just the treadmill effect.
All right, well, we got two more that are pretty out there, and one that basically saved his job last week.
Like Bill Belichick saved this week?
No. Pete Carroll. That one's a little bit out there, but I do think that he should.
On there last week,
yeah, I think you did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
No, he's not out. No, let me stop you right there. No, he is not as out there as you was about to stay.
Yeah,
Go
fair.
ahead.
I think that Pete Carroll,
everything
that happened in that Monday night game itself. I understand Geno Smith is the quarterback, but Geno Smith clearly has shown he's not the worst quarterback in the league. Like, he definitely is capable of playing solid football. But you literally gave him no opportunity to make any plays. I don't give a damn that it's raining. Like, you're in Seattle. You know how to play outside in these weather conditions. Like, and you just reactivated Rashad Penny off of IR. Like, why the hell is this team in such disarray? And especially in a division right now, it looks like San Francisco and Seattle are both just out of the playoff race now. You can't catch up to the Rams or Arizona in this division right now.
Not dropping 13-10 games at home. They just won't get
it. And now also Pete Carroll, this is the first time I think since like the 70s, since they started off the season 0-3 at home. They don't have a home win.
Wow. Amazing.
In a stadium where that is one of the biggest kind of momentum changers is that stadium. When you have fans in that stadium, it is insane. So I don't get it. I think Pete Carroll, end of the season, gotta go, dude. Sorry, you need to change it. We need to agree to go our separate ways. Type of situation over there. Another one, especially after this last week, and I guess a lot of people, I think he's one of the best young head coaches in the league, but he has some blunders in the Super Bowl, in both the Super Bowls that he's been in, and now questions are arising with his team now falling to 2-4. Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. I, I know that I know this sounds a little premature. I can understand how this narrative can start. This is where it begins. This stuff like this. This is what happens. This is
Yeah.
how it begins for coaches. Is these kind of stretch runs right now, and I think that's legit. I can't even argue that. But what?
I
No
wouldn't. Me
cases of
myself,
these
I
last
wouldn't.
few. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do it, but I
Pete
can
Carroll,
see-
I would. I would
I've
fire.
seen where these other guys have gotten. I've seen other coaches get fired for a lot less.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like this one is just like, dude, you have the history in the playoffs in both the Super Bowls that you've lost.
And
You have the issues with the offense this year, and everybody continues to be injured. You need to figure out something with this training staff because for some reason you specifically continue to have injuries at certain positions.
Right.
Like quarterback and in running back. Why can you never have those guys healthy? And running back is the most egregious one because you have a rotating door of running backs and all of them are injured. How does that happen? What are you doing that is causing you to not be able to put your best team on the field?
Pete Carroll is the Tom Thibodeau of running back coaches.
Pete Carroll. I guess I could have said the same thing about him too. I was talking about Kyle Shanahan, but
oh, my bad.
But no, it fits
you
perfectly.
Said Pete Carroll, and my mind went right back to Pete Carroll. I'm just like, because I have something I got to take in my head because I got another comment about him.
Okay.
Now that we don't crack that seal. There is nobody I can't stand more right now outside of Matt Nagy.
I was gonna say
than Pete Carroll. These are the 1A and 1B of my freaking existence this year. That has I am so just across all sports, all major sports. These two guys.
By the way, I did not think going into this year that Chicago Bulls would be my saving grace for my sports fandoms.
Gosh,
they're 4-0 right now.
That is saying a lot because that wasn't on nobody's radar.
No.
A great draft, wonderful offseason, got all that, blah blah blah. But yeah,
Back to football.
no one was seeing it like that way in Chicago sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
no, I just Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan. That I think that those both are something that is just like, dude, what the hell? Like you guys got to figure that out. Now the last one, and we'll leave it here. Joe Judge. I don't think last week saves you from being on the hot seat. Just simply put, you still are a dude to me that you need to be better.
Judge.
Yep.
Yeah, I think from a grace, just from a professional aspect, I think organizations just let them just finish the year out.
Oh well, yeah.
It's like what is in their situation? What is firing him going to do for you? That's not going to spark your team to do anything. You're going to get rid of the personnel anyway. You're going to get rid of half the damn players anyway. I think they should just hold serve, reevaluate where they're at. If I don't even want to say if they salvaged part of the season. Just figure out what y'all want to do. Y'all might want to go a different direction come next year, but I wouldn't necessarily fire them mid-season. I don't think they have nothing to gain by letting them go now.
Yeah.
Or in some other cases, no problem. Y'all can cut the cord right now. You know who you are. You two know who you are.
Gotcha.
Cut the cord. And I might have to say, and I know what I just said about Pete Carroll. I'm like, I'm still pissed about that little Russell Wilson fiasco he did in the offseason. And now that I'm seeing what he's seeing now, that almost is putting me above the Nagy thing to a degree of just, because you were so damn spiteful. You need to be out of here, buddy. Because I'm like, you're killing. After we seen last night's performance, really, 13-10. That's all you got. That was, and when I say 10, you had one freaking play and a field goal.
No, and listen to this. For how much we've been talking about that the Seattle defense needs to play better. Now, you have one of the best performances they put on at all, with the help of the weather, of course. But you have a fantastic performance from that defense to have that bend don't break mentality. They let up the Alvin Kamara touchdown. They let up a couple of field goals. Perfectly fine. 13 points. we can't, like, how are you not winning a game where your defense only allows 13 points? That's not even 2 touchdowns. Like, how, like, you've wasted a golden opportunity to show people that if your defense steps up, we will win games. Nope, you still can't get it done. Regardless of if you have Russell Wilson or not, a 13-point performance from the opposition, that should always result in a win.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
that's all I got.
I know it's fine. It was what I was looking at, because I remember something very similar to this happening, and it was the Kansas City game. Like, now all of a sudden you put up this defensive performance, but then your offense just nowhere to be found. Like, okay, I don't even have words for that, because I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
I don't even know how to speak to that, and I can't speak to it. So I'll see the next game.
Yeah, gotcha.